And the way that it started was that the Humane Society, the rescue community, and the shelter there were all fighting amongst themselves. And they couldn't come together on the correct way to run the shelter. So what they did is they all got together and said, there has to be a better way to do this. So they launched a group effort to work together. And they came up with this great way, and within 5 years they had a 90% live release rate in their shelter. So that in 2013 they launched Target Zero. So they do that with these proven practices in Target Zero, and Linda and I have talked about this a lot. So the way that they do that is they have the DNA of Target Zero as integrity, transparency, collaboration with the community, accountability, equality, humility, and intellectual honesty. And that's the basis of Target Zero. So they do that by decreasing intake, length of stay in your shelter, promoting outcome by adoption, return to owner, and transfer to rescue. That is the basis of Target Zero. They do this with a pyramid, and their pyramid is basically pet live release programs, which is TNR, surrender prevention programs, solution to community cats in shelters, subsidized income targeted spay-neuter surgeries, better shelter policies, and better public policies in place. So that's the basis of Target Zero. Target Zero and Alley Cat Allies run together. So on a national average, only 30% of all cats entering shelters have a positive outcome across the country. Jacksonville, Florida Animal Care and Control adopted a TNR program at the cost of $160,000 in partnership, that's a very important word there, in partnership with their community resources, meaning businesses supported their TNR program. The savings over 4 years to the taxpayers in the shelter was $1 million. The average cost of trapping, transport, holding, killing, disposing of a feral cat is $185. To TNR a cat in your community, the average cost is $75. $75. But the question that continues to come up to us all the time is, what about rabies in our community? So here's the statistics from the CDC on rabies in your community. It is very rare for a cat to contract rabies, let alone spread it. There have been 34 cases of rabies to humans since 2003, according to the CDC. The only known fatalities are from failure to seek medical care. Treatment is 100% effective and is as simple as a shot in your arm, the same as you getting your flu vaccine. There are 0 cases of rabies attributed to a feral cat bite in 40 years. Only 7.6% of all rabies cases were attributed to domesticated animals, and this included unvaccinated family pets. There has not been a single confirmed case of a cat-to-human rabies bite in 40 years. And only 2 human rabies cases have been attributed to cats in 57 years. Community caregivers of feral colonies have been studied for the past 25 years. There have been no show increased rate of disease or ill side effects in studies showing cat communities, and cat communities are generally as healthy as pet cats. No feral cat caregiver has shown any ill side effects in any studies. Cat behavior and natural instincts prevent them from contracting rabies. They are defensive animals, and their prey is animals that rarely have rabies. Their prey is squirrels, chipmunks, and mice, and these animals do not carry rabies. Community cats are also not socialized and pose no threat to humans because they retreat from humans. According to the CDC, 92.4% of all rabies cases are wild animals: bats, raccoons, skunks, and foxes. Rabies shots of 1 year have been proven to be effective for up to 3 to 5 years or longer if you titer test a cat or dog. So if you titer test a cat or dog after it's received its first rabies vaccine, 3 to 5 years later, there's traces of that rabies vaccine still showing in that animal. This was proven with bats. They gave bats rabies vaccines, and they titer tested them later, and it was still showing up. After a 1-year rabies vaccine, you will find traces of the vaccine for years in the dogs or cats system, which is why North Carolina now does a 1-year vaccine and a 3-year vaccine. This is also why North Carolina is now more lenient on their rabies quarantine time. So Allied Cat Allies and Target Zero resources are free. They are proven to work. They help you receive funding to put your programs in place. They cost nothing to move forward for consultations. And they're free for us to just send them an email and ask them to come out and give us a consultation. They have a 90% proven live release rate, but it takes 5 years. It can take 3 to 5 years to get there. Questions?
Anybody have any questions for Tam?
Yes.
So I know, I understand everything you're saying about the numbers and the science, and I'm with you. Where when I talk to people where they say the holdup could be sometimes there's a discrepancy, between laws and science. So apparently, like in Orange County, when I was speaking to Bob Murata there, they had wanted to make some changes in their ordinance with respect to feral cats, but there was some conflict with state law around rabies, and so they had to kind of work through that. So that's fine. I mean, sometimes you just have to work through that. But I didn't know whether Allied Cat Allies or Target Zero, do they help with that? Do they help kind of troubleshoot, like, state law, county ordinance kind of issues? Okay, great.
They will.
Great.
They will help you. Actually, on Allied Cat Allies, they have written ordinances, and they will come in and help you write your ordinances for you.
Okay.
They have proven in 16 cities that it works, and they will come in and help you do it. But they will come in and actually sit down with you and tell you what will work in your community and what will not. And they will also, as I explained to someone else, they will also come in and show you how to get the funding for this. And Target Zero is underwritten by Maddie's Fund, which is, it's kind of like, to me it's a no-brainer. We're going to come in, we're going to show you how to do this, and we're going to show you how to get the money to do this. So.
And do you know, have they worked with any other community in North Carolina yet?
I don't think they've worked with anyone in North Carolina yet. If you want to look at a really good footprint of where it's working, Birmingham, Alabama is the best place to look as where it's really working.
With respect to the TNR stuff?
To the respect for Target Zero. If you want to look at where TNR is working, you should look at Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
Because they took $160,000 and turned it into $1 million savings.
Okay, great. Thanks.
So you can just pick the pieces that work for you. You don't have to like follow their.
You don't have to follow every pyramid that they use, but if you want, their pyramid works so well, and it takes a long time to implement it. It does, but it's not something that happens overnight. It doesn't. But they had a community that couldn't come together, and they came together and they said, we have to make this work, and it is a proven structure that works. If you look at Birmingham, Alabama, who had a really high kill rate in Birmingham, Alabama, and their animals, and they couldn't work with their rescues, and they couldn't work with their Humane Society, and their directors were leaving every 6 to 8 weeks, and their animals are dying in the kennels. And now they have this tremendous shelter, and they're getting these incredible grants, and they're one of the best shelters in the South.